Hi guys, and welcome to Taom Time with me, Mark White, and with me today is the 2015 World Snooker Champion, Stuart Ball Run Bingham. Hi Stuart, how you doing, mate?
Morning, you all right?
Yeah, I'm great. Morning for you, of course. You're in Essex and I'm here in Thailand. I want to start by asking you, Stuart, who gave you the nickname Ball Run, and what's the origin of it?
Many moons ago, when I was at Basden Snooker Club, there was a lad up there who was the best player in the club, a guy called Rob John, and he went away for about 6 months. And in that space of 6 months, obviously, I'll become the best player in the club. And then we end up having a couple of money matches, which I can't even remember. I think I won. And obviously, I had a lot of form. That's what the nickname's about. A lot of run, a lot of lucky shots and things like that. So, he ended up calling me Ball Run, and it's stuck ever since.
Do you know how strange is that? Because I actually thought it was because you ran so many balls, made so many clearances, never missed. But it means you're lucky. Oh,
Ball
it's a
Run,
bit of
yeah.
a letdown.
I know.
Oh,
Thing is,
so
back then, I suppose I used to smash the balls around and just go for everything. Obviously, as I've improved, obviously, try and work out what the balls actually try and do, and it's a totally different game. It's sort of, I feel like I don't get any run anymore, but you do. Obviously, you do every now and then. But obviously, the thing is with the commentator, as soon as you get one bit of luck, that's it. Oh, here we go, Ball Run. So I end up purchasing the number plate BA11RUN last July. So I've got that on the car now. So yeah, all good.
what car do you drive while we're on the subject?
I'm an Audi fan, so
Oh,
I've got a kids bus, a Q7. So I'm up and down the motorway. It's comfortable and all that. So yeah, I've had, I don't know, 5 or 6 Audis over the years. So big fan.
yeah. I thought you'd be a German car kind of guy.
Yeah,
I was going to guess either Merc. I was going to say Merc actually, if I'm honest.
yeah.
So you're 48 years old. It all started back in Essex. Now I can remember meeting you. I think you would have been about, I don't know, 14 years old, I'm guessing, at a pro-am. It was either in Chelmsford or Whittam Snooker Centre. I can't remember which one it was. How old were you in 1989, early 90s? How old were you then?
I didn't start playing till 1990, so it must have been someone else. But
No, it was
yeah,
definitely you.
yeah. No, I was full just before my 14th birthday. I started, but I had hair at the time, so even though I was about 18, 19, I looked about 14. So I used to still get on the buses half price and things like
Be-
that.
because I always used to think you looked a little bit like Stuart Petman. Did you used to have the curtain hair?
No, never. No, I just had
No?
like a part. No, just a parting.
Oh, I must have been getting you
But
mixed up with somebody else then. Perhaps it was Stuart Petman I'm mixing you up with. Another
yeah,
class
no.
of 92, of course.
Yeah, no, obviously, Whittam days. You say when you said that, yeah, most probably Chelmsford or Whittam used to play in them. Like I say, I must have been about 16 because I think my first ever tournament I entered outside the club was a 16 and under event, and I was 16. Um, so yeah, I'd have most probably been 16, 17. It would have been sort of like 92, 93.
Okay. So 1996 World Amateur Champion. How was that? Have you got any memories of that? Do you remember who you played in the semis or the final? Do you remember anything about that tournament?
Yeah, I ended up turning pro in '95, but because of all the pros at the time, the amateur game was dying. So they let um, they let everyone outside the top 128, I believe, that could enter the amateur events. So I ended up entering the English amateur. At the time, it was called the English National because obviously they let pros in. I ended up beating Peter Lyons in the final
Oh, okay, yeah.
in Bradford, which then it got me to go to New Zealand for the World Amateur. And I remember beating Steve Lemons, who's sadly passed away in the semis. Great game. And then I end up beating an Australian guy called Stan Gorski. I can't remember the score, something like 11-8, I think, something like that. It might be 11-5. Yeah, many moons ago, I remember turning up. It was all in one like hotel, and they had the trophies out on show, and I was like, "Wow, look at that trophy!" It was a glorified ice bucket. I've got it up there somewhere. I remember I was seeing it all and took a picture, and I'm like, "Wow, how good would that be?" And a week and a half later, I got my hands on it. So,
wow, amazing. Of course, that was 96. A little bit of a gap before what I'd call a major, I guess. 2015, of course, was the big year for you, Stuart, winning the world title. I mean, 17 days of absolute torture, I always think it is. I mean, it's the blue ribbon event of snooker. It's an absolutely brilliant time of the year. I have always looked forward to it. I basically never worked for 17 days. Even if I was employed, I would watch every single match. What do you remember from the year that you won it? Did you go into it in particularly good form? Did you have high expectations that year, or was it a complete surprise, or did you quietly think, oh, I've got a good chance here?
yeah, the season leading up to it, I ended up winning the Shanghai Masters in September time. I think I won the Championship League that year. I won a Asian Tour event, so I won 3 events going into it, and I come off of back-to-back semi-finals as well. So I knew I was going into it pretty good, pretty sharp. Remember turning up the first match against Robbie Williams, a bit under the weather, and maybe jet lag or something coming back from China. And I remember just getting through. Great game. Obviously watched it back a few times, and Robbie played really well. I think I ended up winning 10-7, I think. And I remember having about 4 or 5 days gap. So I come home. I was on the honey and lemon, hot drink to sort of try and sort of make myself better. And I remember sort of going back up. Still had a bit of a cough, but I remember playing Graham Dott and beating him 13-5, I think. And I thought that's a good win because I rate Graham very highly. So I remember I sort of knew I was playing well at the time, and then obviously come up against Ronnie in the quarterfinals. A couple of years before that, he pumped me 13-4 same round. So it was like, well, if I can just keep with him, then I've got half a chance. And remember, I think I was 5-3 up, then 8-all after the 2 sessions, and then going into the last session, he won the first frame to go 9-8, and then I didn't miss a ball for the next 5 frames. So. And then once I beat him, it was a dream to get to the one table setup. Obviously, seeing a few friends, sort of Barry Hawkins and Ricky Walden, getting to that one table setup, and I was like, I've got to get there one day. Sort of, it's like what we've always watched growing up and things like that. So after beating Ronnie, I remember looking at the draw, thinking I've got Judd, and the other sort of semis was Shaw Murphy and Barry Hawkins. And I thought, well, what a great chance. I'm playing well. I'm not scared of Judd. And I was on a bit of a free roll. And obviously just produced, like, say, maybe the best snooker for the sort of next sort of 5 days and end up getting my hands on the trophy.
Yeah, amazing. And jump forward to just last month, a couple of months back, and Crucible again. Semi-final. Now, I must admit, I really thought that the run you had this year and the people you beat, I thought your name's on that trophy again. I couldn't see anyone beating you. It was 4 kind of semi-finalists. Okay, kind of Kyron Wilson's been there before. He's been in a final before. I know that. But when you got to the semi-final, I looked at them 4 and I thought, oh, I don't know. I really fancy Stuart to win it this time. I want to ask you a question. Were you tired? Did did fatigue play a little bit of a part in this year's World Championships for you personally? Do you think, or not?
Yeah, it is. It's a bit of a Groundhog Day. Obviously, I had 2 qualifying matches, and obviously only just scraped through them really. Even though it was good, both were good matches. I've scraped through 10-9, 10-8, and then which got me in a good sort of space really, going into that tournament. And obviously a 10-5 victory, I think, over Gary Wilson. A good 13-10 or 13-11 over Jack, and then again beating Ronnie 13-10. I think looking back at it, it's still a bit raw. It still hurts because it's like you say, it's only about a month ago. But I think like I sort of had too much pressure on myself looking at that like semi-final draw. It was obviously Kyron looked like he was playing well all the way through, so I think he deserved the win. No disrespect to Jack Jones or Dave Gilbert, but I think Kyron may probably deserved that. But looking at the draw for me, yeah, it was like, what a chance to get my hands on that for a second time. And I think I put a bit too much pressure on myself. Obviously, went into that match 3-0 up, should have gone 4-0 up. Obviously, could have been a whole lot different story. But just sort of maybe probably, like I say, put more pressure on myself to just sort of get through, and just didn't perform well. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I don't want to go on about it too much, but coming off the back of a great win over Ronnie yet again, and then you must have thought, oh, this has got to be it. I know you don't want to count your chickens and all that, but you can't help but look at the draw and think, you could have been up against, I don't know, Kyron or Mark Selby or Judd or somebody like that, but obviously they'd all gone out as well. But yeah, I really was pulling for you then, mate. I was really hoping, especially for Maureen as well, your mum. I know she's your biggest fan. She'd have been made up, of course, and the money wouldn't have been too bad either, would it?
I know, yeah. Sort of, to be honest, even the semi-final helped me out a lot. Looking at things like that. Plus, I think the difference with the other 4, obviously the other 3 semi-finalists, I've done it and been there. I know what comes from it. Obviously, everyone else, it's all a bit of a new experience. So I knew what comes from it, and it would have been great to sort of get my hands on that for a second time. It would have been unbelievable. But it's good to know that the game's still in there somewhere. Coming off sort of a couple of bad years, really. But it's good to sort of get through, beat obviously Ronnie, obviously Jack Lazowski and other good players. So the game's still there, and hopefully I can kick on next year and sort of get back in the 16.
Yeah, I mean, you've been ranked as high as number 2, right? I believe you was there for a couple of years at number 2. So you've got to take a lot from the World Championships that you've just had. I mean, you did beat some great players yet again. And you showed, you've come through the qualifiers as well, which is never easy. We know that. You can get tripped up in those. A couple of tough matches there as well. What number are you now? Do you know?
I think I'm 25. I end up the year 25, but I'm provisionally 17.
Oh.
So I've got, a good start, hopefully, to get back in the 16 for the start of next year.
Yeah, and you're feeling confident, of course, and you're also playing, Stuart, a couple of other sports as well. You're not just confined to snooker anymore. Now, I know I met you in China a couple of months back, and you really seem to enjoy that. I've got to say, I love it. It's now my favourite sport to commentate on. I really do love the Chinese 8-ball, but you've also dipped your toe into the American pool scene as well. So tell us a little bit about your journey into these other sports. Are you enjoying it? Have you got any kind of delusions of going far in one of those tournaments? Any ambition, I should say, not delusion, ambition?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, obviously we met in China. I'm back out there on Friday to play in another event of the Hayball. So I think with what I've done in my career, I've got half the game. I've got the cue action. I've obviously got the sort of fire in my belly still to sort of do well. It's just sort of learning the different sort of rules and different tactics of the game. So things like that, that does sort of tick my box to try and learn something to sort of get involved and learn the different ways. So again, as for obviously the Chinese 8-ball and the 9-ball, so just trying to find my feet with the right cue that I'm happy with. I end up obviously trying a McDermott cue. They sent me over a couple and just couldn't really get on with it at the UK Open 9-ball, but they're sending me over some new stuff soon. So hopefully once I get used to a cue, that I can obviously start going a little bit far in tournaments and compete with some of the top guys. I feel like I've been watching the 9-ball for years, sort of when the Moscone Cup was in Basildon. I don't know if that was 95, 96.
Okay.
So been watching it there ever since, and obviously at the time they were big pockets. They seem to tighten up now, so you got to be obviously on your game. But I think give it a couple of years. Obviously at the moment it's in Saudi with the World Championships. I think it's called the World Championships.
Yeah.
Whirlpool Masters. So I think it's only going to go one way, and it's going to improve and it's going to get bigger and bigger. Obviously with Matchroom and Emily Fraser taking over, I think it can only be good. And sort of, if I can get my sort of foot in the door now, it could be my sort of retirement game once I sort of finish snooker in a few years or whenever. But yeah,
I was going to ask you that because I can't see any snooker player leaving the tour in their prime to go and commit 100% to pool because, as you say, the money's just not in it. But as the pockets get smaller, the money is getting bigger. I mean, they're paying for $250,000 for the winner of the World 9-Ball Championships in Saudi, which is going on now. So, as you say, Matchroom getting involved in it, there is more money coming there. I would love to see people like you. Mark Williams has already had a go as well. He seems to like it. Chris Mellin has been playing it for a little while now as well. I'd love to see Ronnie as well have a go at it. I think he has played in one of them, I think, maybe one of them. But it's going to take... I think it's a sport where you can't play snooker and pool at the same time. You need to kind of... Would you agree with that? Would you think...
Definitely. You need to practice it. For me, the sort of amount of time that I've played it, I feel like I've done okay. But you may probably need a good 2 or 3 weeks before a tournament to practice it. I've entered there's a 9-ball tournament coming up in Finland, beginning of August, and then straight from there I'll be going and playing in the European 9-ball in Germany. So it'd be nice to sort of see where my game's at for the second one if I get a chance to have a little practice. I've got a friend who lives about 10 minutes away that's got a nice setup. He's got like a snooker table, an 8-ball table and a 9-ball table all in one room. So it's obviously I was meant to do that after the World Championships, just because I had obviously had the run to the semis. I didn't have a chance to practice the 9-ball. So I was a bit gutted turning up at the UK and didn't really compete really. Obviously got beat 9-0 my first match, won my second match, and then the Canadian guy John Mora, who's pretty good. He ended up beating me 8-7, and I missed the 9-ball. Sort of down the row. It was like where the tables are getting tighter, they've just rattled and stayed there. So gutted that I didn't go further in that. I felt like I just sort of like finding my feet with a cue. So but it's all looking forward to different events and just keep the arm in really.
Did you know John Mora used to be right-handed and he had a bad shoulder injury and he had to swap hands and now he's learnt to play? I mean, that's quite a feat, that, isn't it?
Unbelievable. Yeah, obviously I end up exchanging numbers. Got a friend in common, Hunter Lombardo, who I've met, and obviously he was introducing me to all these friends, and obviously they're all big snooker fans. So it helps that way. And he was telling me that I didn't know he had an accident. I thought he couldn't sort of play right-handed anymore. He got a bit of like Q-itis or something. But
Yeah.
um,
It wasn't an accident. It was just he had problems with his right shoulder, so he had to swap
right,
hands. Actually, his father. Do you remember a snooker player back in the 80s, Mario Mora?
that's it. Yeah. He said,
Yeah.
obviously we follow each other on Facebook, and he said he
Oh,
put a
okay.
post on saying like the commentators at the Worlds mentioned him, and it's really nice the respect and all that. So it obviously goes back to then. So yeah, it's good. Like I say, unbelievable how he's changed to left-handed, and still competing at a high level.
So let's talk a little bit about the chalk, Taom chalk V10. It's taken the Q Sports world by storm over in recent years. I mean, it really is a fabulous product, isn't it? I just wondered how you came about using it and what do you think of it? Do you think it's
Uh,
something you'll always use?
Without a doubt, now it's definitely been a game changer in our game. We was getting to a point where it was getting kicks, bounces off the cushion. It was just a bit of hot luck, and I remember Robin Hull when he was still playing. He come up. He sort of, I think might have gave a bit to like Alfie Burden, saying there's this new chalk coming out, and I remember seeing it. And obviously, when you're used to a cube, the triangle cube chalk, you go to the little round one, it just felt really weird. But now, we've played with obviously the Taom chalk, you go back to a triangle chalk or a master's chalk, and it feels like it's like a chunk in your hand. So it's definitely sort of changed the game for the better. Obviously, the different grades, you could see the improvement as well. So I believe that they might be bringing like a V10 blue chalk out, I think, soon.
Right.
Um, looking forward to seeing that. But they've come up now with a V10, and it's 10 times better than the first chalk. I won't be changing to anything other than sort of the Taom chalk again.
Yeah, good to hear. Now, a couple of other little things I'd like to ask you about, Stuart. Who do you think is your best victory? What's the best victory you've ever had? What would you put down as
Uh,
the most memorable?
um, Looking back, maybe probably my first ever ranking event win. At the time, Mark Williams was number one, so to beat him 9-8 from 8-5 down in the final of Australia, that's up there. That's up there with there. Always sort of nice remind Mark about that, to sort of because he does like winding people up. So I've sort of got one on in there. But obviously that even down to, like you say, the English amateur, the world amateur rates highly. But yeah, the worlds and the masters was extra special.
And
Just yeah.
who would you say is your toughest opponent? Who's the hardest person to beat that you've come up against?
I think everyone's tough these days. Sort of maybe looking back, obviously like people like Peter Ebden was tough to play. Obviously the likes of Ronnie, John Higgins, that's in the game now. Like you say, you've got to play 110% to have a chance against them. Even if you play 110%, you're not guaranteed to win, which you can't really say a lot about anyone. That you like, you feel like if I play well, I can beat anyone. But sort of them two really that stand out. That even if you play that well, you're not guaranteed to win. So they're the best they're best in the game, and they have been for the last 30 odd years.
Now, I was doing a little bit of research about you, and I found out a lovely little story. I do like my little stories. I read that you are the only sportsman or sports person to win two events at the same venue in different sports. Do you know this one?
No,
No? Oh,
no,
I hope it's right. Championship League snooker in the function room at Crondon Park Golf Course in
yeah,
Stock. Yeah. And you also won a golf event there as well. You're on the board at the in the golf as well. Is that true?
That's true, actually. Yeah, yeah. Stat man.
No, I'll leave that to Phil. I'll leave that to Phil Yates. Do you still get to play golf? Are you still a bit of a golfer? Do you regret not taking up golf, maybe? Because I know you were pretty good, right?
Yeah, I got down to 5. I think 4.6 was the best I got to. Like people sort of, I remember at the time people going, "You should take golf up, like give snooker up." And even though I was 4.6 or whatever it was, I was still miles and miles and miles away from being any good at golf. People sort of think, "Oh yeah, single figure, you're really good," but when you're talking about the top players, you're seeing people, even local players, that are +3, +4, and they ain't got a chance of making it. And you might sort of go, "Well, +4, that's like 8 shots." It ain't. It's about 80 shots difference. That's how level they are. It might be between, like, well, I've seen you play, Paul. I've seen you put a few balls, but it's maybe probably like playing snooker, like me and you. It's like you're a good player, but we're obviously up the professional. It's a totally different kettle of fish. And like you say, I got to a good standard club level, but when you're talking about pro golf, it's a different kettle of fish. So yeah, I never had any dreams of making anything in golf. It was just a bit of fun, good hobby. I don't play much these days. I played out in Thailand the last time I played. That was in March. I'm itching to play, but just ain't got time. It's like I say, going to China on Friday. Just ain't got time to play at the moment. But when I get back, hopefully get a few rounds of golf in. Now the weather's picking up. I'm a bit of a fair weather golfer. So when the sun comes out, the shorts are on. And
the plus
just
fours.
Sort of, yeah.
Do you wear the +4s, do you?
Oh no! Even though I'm that old, remember that, I don't do that.
Look, Stuart, I don't want to keep you too long. It's lovely to have a chat with you, but if you don't mind, I'd love for you to show your fans around your room at the moment. I mean, obviously you're in your practice room, right? I've seen it on Facebook. It's in a building at the end of your garden. Can you just show us around a little bit? Don't worry about being a little bit shaky on the camera. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just want to see what just have a look at your room, see what you've got. If you could just give us a little guided tour. Imagine I've paid you good entrance fee now. Right, come on, Stuart Bingham. Show us around your room.
See, that's the World Amateur Trophy.
Oh wow!
And I'm a bit anal with it, all things like that. So they're the set of balls I won with. Wow. So you can see, look, Stan Gorski, I beat him 11-5. So I've got all the scores at the bottom. So normally I've
amazing.
I've got here, that's the Premier League. I was the last player to win that, so I got to keep the trophy. Again, they're the set of balls and the ref's gloves.
Who's the ref? Signed. Who's the referee?
It was Paul Collier.
Oh, okay, Paul Collier, yeah. Oh, you're frozen. I think you've hit a button.
Right,
I lost you for a second there. Sorry. Go on, Stuart.
Right.
Carry on. Go on, mate.
Yeah,
sorry, I lost you.
You got Performance of the Year in 2012. I think that was Australia. Player of the Year 14-15. Snooker's Writers Player of the Year and Hall of Fame 15 and 16.
Wow.
So all little sort of like runner-up medals. That's my little runner-up.
I can see myself in your trophy. I'm in your trophy cabinet at the moment. I just caught a glimpse of myself in there.
That's all the runners-up trophies and that. All the watches I've collected over the years from sort of free gifts from. You got like Shanghai one. You got the Royal London watches and things like that. All
amazing.
Bit of like Chinese rice wine. And
what beautiful memories! Beautiful memories, eh?
There. Yeah.
What's all the shirts? Are they all your playing shirts, or what are they? They're
all from they're all from the shootout.
Ah,
so most people like donate them and give them to charities. Where like you say, you can see with all what I've got, I like to keep everything. To look back when I retire and I look back at all this, it's good because they've got like the rankings as well on the shirt sleeves.
Yeah,
so you've got like 25, 12, and then you sort of get to number 1.
Oh, 1.
So yeah, obviously 1 for a couple of years, and then 6, 4, and you can see it start getting a bit worse now. Like 7, I don't know what that is. Number 7. Number 10.
Have you thought of wearing any of them for Paul as a Paul t-shirt? Bring you a bit of luck.
I ain't thought about that, to be fair, but yeah, good idea that.
Yeah, come on, get the shirts out. So show us now. Listen, I know every Englishman, his castle is somewhere where he goes to read a book, to get away from everything. Is the toilet, the Kazi, the WC, the restroom. Now let's have a look.
It used to be the trophy room, but it's now it's the bank room, because I've got all my like checks that I've won over the years.
Oh, brilliant! Look at this. So, you're worth a few quid, aren't you? I think I read that you're worth a few quid. I think you've won about 4 million quid. I think I saw. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, it says that. I don't know where it's all gone. I think the missus has had half of it. But yeah.
It's all them camping holidays, mate. It's all the camping holidays.
Yeah, there's a suit room. There's a tournament that I played in. That was a Masters qualifier.
Yeah.
I won. So I've got all the results there.
Oh, beautiful.
Mark Selby in the final.
Well, look, Stuart, I've thought of something. If ever I'm back in Essex, I'm not back. I'm from near you, of course, near Colchester. If I'm ever back in Essex and you're around, I'd love to come round there and really have a look and maybe make a nice little video of all this properly, because there's a real history there. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
So, going around English and Welsh Open.
Wow. Show us the World Trophy again before we go.
Nice.
Oh, there's the mum. There's your mum and dad and family in it for the. Oh, there's the Masters I just saw.
Yeah, that's my
look at that.
All the
that's
family
the
there.
Masters, yeah. Oh, how beautiful. That's what it's all about, mate, isn't it? I know you're a real good family man.
Yeah.
There's the
nice
Masters
little corner.
And the World Trophy, the 3/4 size, as you said. And show us the cue very quickly that you won it with.
Yeah, the cue's hanging up there.
Is that a John Paris, that one?
No, it was a cue doctor, someone from Southend.
Oh, wow.
That done it.
Look, we're about to run out of time, Stuart. I mean, I could really talk to you all day and watch this all day. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. Good luck in China. I'm going to be commentating remotely. I'm not going to see you there in person this time. I hope you can get some work on that break before you go very quickly, right? And also get some work on those jump shots, because I know you enjoy the jump shots. I saw you put a brilliant 3 and you're still very proud of that, aren't you?
Exactly. Yeah, obviously played at the UK. I actually potted 2 balls jumping them, so it's getting there. I'm improving all the time.
Anyone you'd like to say thank you to? Any sponsors or anything? How people can contact you before you go?
I've got a new management team, TW Sports Management. Kyron Wilson's brother, Taylor, he's looking after me. So, give him a shout out. Obviously, Taom, they sponsored me for a few events, so appreciated them for them 2 tournaments. But, thanks to everyone who's watching, and hopefully enjoy the shows.
Thank you so much for your time, Stuart. Always a pleasure, mate. You are a pure gentleman, and forever you will be known as Bull Run Bingham to me, as a man that runs balls, not a man that gets good ball rolls. All right?
Yeah. All right. Cheers, Mark. Thanks.
Cheers, Stuart. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
A revolutionary rack template designed for players who demand perfection in every break. Introducing Taom Max Rack. Taom Max Rack for 9-ball and 10-ball game. Taom Max Rack for 8-ball game. For every break, every shot, and every game. Max-Rack is your secret weapon. With its ultra-thin design and maximum durability, Max-Rack sets a new standard in the game. Max-Rack isn't just a tool, it's a game changer that enhances your play, elevates your provision, and transforms the way you approach each shot. Max-Rack is a choice of world champions. Taom Max-Rack officially launched. Break the confidence, break with Max-Rack. Max-Rack is now available.